21st meeting of the Eden Prairie City Council will now come to order. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Prior to the start of each City Council meeting, we have an opportunity for citizens to address the Council on issues related to city business during the time period from approximately 6:30 to 7 o'clock. These City Council meetings are held on the first and third Tuesdays of each month, and if you wish to speak during this open podium period of time, please contact the City Manager's office at 949-8412 by noon of the meeting date, along with your name and your phone number and the subject that you wish to discuss. If time allows, we will have unscheduled speakers address us. As we did tonight, we had 3 unscheduled speakers. These portions of the meeting are not recorded or televised, and if you have any questions, again, contact the City Manager's office. We have several proclamations, presentations tonight. Before we get started, I would just like to take another minute to extend our sympathies, our prayers and thoughts with Mandy Matula and her family and friends, and I know our police are hard at work. And I would just like to ask all the people of Eden Prairie to keep an eye out when you're out for a walk, when you're driving around. Just keep your eyes open, and if you see anything that looks suspicious, please let our police department know. But thank you. The first thing tonight is the Human Rights Award, and I'd like to, at this point, call the Human Rights and Diversity Commission Vice Chair, P.G. Narayan, to the podium for this presentation.
Good evening. Good evening, Mayor, Council members. My name is P.G. Narayan. Today, accepting the award on behalf of the organization is John Easter, CEO, and Lisbeth Armstrong, Chief Program Officer. And the award goes to Hammer Residence, Inc. Okay. And also, I just want to mention our council commissioners. And we have Laura Kasmarek, is our chair. She's sitting there. And also, we have Connie Ikavelli. I hope that pronounced well, Connie. So I'd just like to read the award. Is that okay?
Yes,
okay.
Please.
So Hammer Residence, Inc. provide residential service for 36 adults with disabilities at 3 Eden Prairie locations: Broadmoor Apartments, Lake Place Apartments, and Eden Place Apartments. Hammer's mission to provide adults and children with the developmental disabilities the opportunity to experience life to its fullest. Hammer rents multiple units and has staff occupy 1 unit 24/7. Hammer's goal closely aligned with those of the Eden Prairie Manifesto. Hammer employees are dedicated to upholding the right of every individual to freedom, dignity, and security, regardless of physical, mental abilities. Hammer was established to promote acceptance and respect for individuals in an atmosphere of caring for others. Parents of developmentally disabled people have found Hammer residents in Eden Prairie to be perfect fit for their children. The 36 residents are well taken care of, loved, and respected while building autonomy near the home in which they grew up. And that's all right up. Now, I guess we give the award, right?
Yes.
And Mark is somewhere here.
Okay. Do you want to call? Do you want me down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you please? Also, John.
It says City of Eden Prairie Human Rights and Diversity Commission. The 2013 Human Rights Award in the nonprofit category is presented today to Hammer Residences, Inc. Congratulations.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
One picture?
Oh.
Thank you, and thank you all for coming tonight. Did you want to
Thanks.
say anything?
Do you want me to?
Sure.
Who do I address? I address you, I guess. Well, thank you very much. We love being a part of the Eden Prairie community. Hammer Residences for 90 years has been assisting people with disabilities to live life to the fullest. And throughout those 90 years, we've always tried to find communities to partner with and innovative ways to provide services. And one of our more recent programs and more innovative programs is our apartment programs like we have here in Eden Prairie. We have found Eden Prairie to be a very welcoming community. It's a place where we not only live, but many of the people who do live here also work here and enjoy the amenities and the facilities of the city. Many of them are here, and they can tell you how much they love living in Eden Prairie, how much they love their apartments, and how wonderful this community has been to them. So we're very honored by this award, and we thank you very much for your partnership.
Thank you. Thank you for the work you do and for being part of our community. Appreciate it. Congratulations.
Yes.
And we also have a grant from CenterPoint Energy. Is the representative here? Thank you. If you could introduce yourself at the podium, that would be great.
I will, thank you. Good evening. I'm Sherry Munson. I'm a new market development sales consultant from CenterPoint Energy. The Community Partnership Grant Program reached $1 million in donations this year. The grant program offers an opportunity for CenterPoint Energy to partner with local fire or police departments, supporting our shared commitment to safety. Over the past 10 years, the program has proudly helped support the funding of 560 projects in the communities throughout the company's service area. Through the grant program, we are able to help cities leverage local funds to purchase needed safety equipment or support safety projects that are important to your community. I am pleased that the City of Eden Prairie is a Community Partnership Grant recipient during this milestone year for $2,500 that will be used to purchase a Lucas II mechanical chest compression system for the fire department.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Do you want to present
I
it
have
to
a
me or
check.
to George? Why don't you give it to George?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief Espenson, I'd love to hear a few words of the importance of this piece of equipment and anything you can offer.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, really appreciate the grant from CenterPoint Energy. They've been a great partner of ours. They also come to our open house every year and give away the hula hoops made out of the gas line, so it goes over very big with the kids. The Lucas II, this is helping to offset the cost for our fourth Lucas II, so we'll have one at each of our fire stations, so no matter which duty crew is on, they'll always have access to it. We've only had them for about 60 days. We've already had 5 instances of what is called ROSC, which is return of spontaneous circulation, which means we get there, the patient is not properly circulating their blood. We put the Lucas II on it, and by the time we get to the hospital, they've gotten their pulse back, and they're a much more viable candidate for survival in the ER. So it does amazing performance of CPR. Even the best trained person for CPR gets tired, and then you lose form, and it's not perfect, and the Lucas II is flawless every time. So it's a great device and a great technology, and certainly very glad that CenterPoint partnered with us on this project.
Yeah, thank you very much. Important piece of equipment. Appreciate it. Thank you, Chief Espenson. The next presentation is a presentation from Stephen Wishman, a partner in the accounting firm that does our audit, and he's going to present our annual financial report.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and members of Council. It's a pleasure to be here tonight to briefly go over the audit results. My name is Steve Wishman. As mentioned, I'm a partner with the firm of Kern de Winter Veery. Again, the audit process starts shortly before December 31st with the kind of the request for information. Again, it is a requirement of the state to have the books audited on an annual basis, and it's our job as the independent auditors to provide an opinion on your financial statements. And again, the official document, it looks very similar to this, and I'm going to, again, the comprehensive annual financial report. In this document is our audit opinion, at the very front of the book, and we again are issuing a clean or unqualified opinion on the financial statements, which is the highest level of assurance that we issue on the financial statements. Congratulations again for receiving that. If you do look at the audit opinion, you will notice that it is slightly different in format from last year due to one of our new auditing clarity standards. Just breaks out in a little more detail what the auditor's responsibility is, what management's responsibility is, etc. So again, congratulations for receiving that. This document will go to the Government Finance Officers Association for their Certificate of Excellence, which you've received for the last number of years. In addition to that information, the city did receive and expend over $500,000 of federal money, and as a result, you're required to have a single audit in accordance with the federal auditing standards. And again, this smaller document basically recaps that information. We tested compliance with government auditing standards, another layer of compliance, as well as the federal auditing standards for the Community Development Block Grant. And that all checked out great. The opinions are clean. Again, no items to note there as well. So congratulations for receiving that highest level of assurance as well. The third thing that we are required to look at is compliance with Minnesota statutes. That information is also in this smaller document. And again, looks at compliance with collateralization of your deposits, making sure your investments are in compliance with Minnesota statutes, bids and quotes, and again, no items to note there as well. The final part of our audit relates to kind of looking at your internal controls of the city and if there was any items to report there, which generally, with about 60 cities that we work with as a firm, the vast majority of them have some kind of reporting item. Pleased to announce that the City of Eden Prairie does not have any reporting items to note at all. So no internal control issues, things of that nature, which is very much a rarity. There's only a very few, I think there's only 2 audits that I sign personally that do not have any compliance or internal control findings. So congratulations for receiving that highest level of assurance. Also in the communications document is just a variety of information, financial analysis that we kind of discussed earlier tonight. But the things that I think are very much important is to kind of just look historically at your overall financial position. That's what's called the change in your net position of all funds. And if you look in the comprehensive report, you'll notice that your change in net position this year was a positive $7.8 million. So if you ask yourself, is the city better off financially at the end of 2012 than it was at the beginning? Pleased to report that indeed it is by approximately $7.8 million. The second thing I just like to point out is just kind of looking at your major operating fund, which is the general fund of the city. And it has a very stable ending fund balance. You do have a targeted fund balance based on tax collections, some other budgetary reserves, and you are on budget with that level of fund balance in the general fund. So again, very healthy reserves, very right what the state auditor would recommend as well, but again, very, very good financial position, which I just think the viewing audience would like to know from a big standpoint that things are very much in order and that this city's finances are excellent. The final thing I would just like to say is thank you to your finance personnel. It is a large process when it comes to the audit. There's a lot of information we look at, a lot of people we talk to. It does disrupt their day and their weeks, and we realize that, but they did an outstanding job getting all the information ready for us, and it just shows in these reports that we're issuing, and you will be reviewing and approving tonight that, again, excellent results. And it's very much a team effort, and I just want to thank everybody involved with the city that gathers all the information, makes us feel comfortable, gives us all the audit information we want so that we can prepare it, review it, discuss it with you, and then are here tonight to present the final results. So I'd be very happy to answer any questions you may have on the audit process or any of the financial information. There is a lot of information in all the books that we do have, but at this point I'll just close and ask if there's anything further that I can answer for you.
Thank you. Any questions? As Mr. Wishman said, we did have a presentation during our workshop earlier, so we did have an opportunity to ask any questions that we might have. I would like to, at this point, thank our finance department staff for the excellent job they do, as well as Mr. Wishman for the guidance that he's given us over the years. How many years have you been doing this now for us?
This will be the fifth year.
That sounds about right.
Fourth, yeah.
And then I'd
second
also,
round.
Thank you. I'd also like to thank staff for the excellent budget process, because one of the things that Mr. Wishman pointed out to us is how very close we are on budget versus actual spending and revenue. So that's always nice to hear too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
At this point, we need a motion to accept the 2012 Comprehensive Annual Financial Report. Is there a motion?
I move to accept the 2012 Comprehensive Annual Financial Report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The motion passes. And I apologize, I need to go back to the previous item, the acceptance of the grant of $2,500 from CenterPoint, and we need a motion on that too.
I would move to adopt the resolution accepting grant funding from CenterPoint Energy to help offset the purchase price of a Lucas 2 automated chest compression device.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. We need a motion for approval of the agenda and other items of business.
So moved.
Second.
Any items to add or delete
Yes,
or
Your
pull for
Honor.
discussion?
I have a report from the Fire Relief Association Board.
Okay.
And I would like to pull for a small amendment, item C, the financial policies.
Okay. All right. All in favor? Oh,
Well, if we're doing it that way,
Okay.
I need to pull on item 2, but I thought we were maybe waiting till the consent calendar or whatever you prefer.
Oh, okay.
yeah, let's wait until the consent
All
calendar.
right, fine.
So all in favor of the agenda as amended?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Is there a motion for approval of the minutes from the council workshop held on Tuesday, May 7th?
So move.
Second.
Any corrections to those? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Is there a motion for approval of the minutes of the city council meeting held that same evening?
So moved.
Second.
Any items to correct there? All in favor? Aye. The motion passes. Okay, consent calendar. Items to pull for discussion. Item C.
Item C, yes.
C and H, if we could pull
Okay.
them and vote on them separately and individually.
Okay, is there a motion for approval of the consent calendar, items A through J, accepting items C and H?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Item C, Councilmember Nelson.
Yes, this is the financial policies, and I have a small amendment that I would like to add to it. It would go into the key results, the second section on page 1. And item 6 now reads efficient and effective services delivery. I would like it to read efficient, innovative, and effective service delivery. I think we've been doing so much in the innovative line that it really belongs in our policy statement of that's important
value.
to the city.
Yeah.
Could we, by consensus, add that word?
Yeah.
Unless it's not, unless there's no consensus.
Is there a motion then? Is that
Oh,
what you're
now-
saying?
well-
Because we had pulled it.
Yeah, now we need a motion on C.
Yeah. So I move that we add that word, and I guess I need a second.
And approve item C.
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, Councilmember Nelson. That's a good idea. Mr. Case.
I simply need to recuse myself from H, so if you all
Okay.
could vote on it separately, and I will recuse myself because it deals with my employer.
Okay. Fortunately, we have enough for making a motion and a second.
That's
Okay.
true.
Is there a motion on item H?
I would move that we approve item H.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain?
So Do I abstain or in recusing myself?
You abstain.
I abstain.
Okay. All right, we have one and only one public hearing tonight. Mr. Getchell?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is a public hearing for the city to approve the issuance by the city of Deep Haven for lease revenue bonds for a charter school in Eden Prairie, Eagle Ridge Academy, Eden Prairie. The city of Deep Haven plans to issue bonds for the purpose of financing approximately $9.5 million of project costs on behalf of Eagle Ridge and Eden Prairie. The project will consist of the acquisition, improvement, and betterment and extension of their approximate 77,000 square foot charter school located at 7255 Flying Cloud Drive in Eden Prairie. You had heard at our earlier presentation that in some occasions the city does do conduit financing for similar projects like this. In this case, we're not doing conduit financing. The city of Deep Haven is, but because this project is located in the city of Eden Prairie, federal law requires us to hold a public hearing, and that's simply what we're doing. So again, it's a conduit financing issuance, but it's not even by the city of Eden Prairie.
So it's safe to assume there's also a public hearing in Deep Haven.
I believe there was last night.
Okay.
Yeah, and also, Mayor, the project proponents here from Eagle Ridge Academy, as well as their financial advisors, are here to answer any questions you may have.
Okay. Any questions? Councilmember Case?
Yeah, I don't have the slightest problem with this. I'm excited for all of you. Is it quite unorthodox to have another city putting up bond money for some project within our city limits?
No, not necessarily. I believe any government agency in the state could provide the conduit financing. In our case, we run up against our bank qualified limit for issuing debt in a given year, which I believe is $10 million in a given year. And we exceed that limit with the debt we actually issued for some road improvements with Shady Oak Road.
That's
So
why I was wondering
I
why
believe
we're not
that's right.
involved in this. Yeah.
That's a good question, Councilmember Case, because I believe we were in early discussions with Eagle Ridge about potentially providing this financing ourselves.
Okay.
Any other questions? This is a public hearing. Is there anyone from the audience that wants to address the council on the Eagle Ridge issue? No? Seeing none, is there a motion?
I would move to close the public hearing and adopt resolution approving the issuance by the City of Deep Haven, Minnesota, of its charter school lease revenue bonds, Series 2013A and Series 2013B, Eagle Ridge Academy project.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The motion passes. Payment of claims. Is there a motion?
Congratulations. Yes.
Thank you.
Congratulations and welcome to Eden Prairie.
I would move approval of payment of claims as submitted.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any items to question? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mayor Tyler Wilkins,
Aye.
Councilmember Otto,
Aye.
Councilmember Nelson. Aye. Councilmember Case.
Aye.
Thank you. Reports of council members. At our last council meeting, I reported back on the results of our evaluation of our city manager, which we had done in a closed session the previous council meeting. At last meeting, I talked about the overwhelmingly positive comments that we've gotten from both staff and from council members and community members in his abilities and his attitude and his vision for our city. And I want at this point to recommend, based on discussion at previous meetings, that we have a compensation adjustment for our city manager of 4.5% retroactive to January 1st of 2013. Anything else? Okay, is there a motion to that effect? Does anybody want to make that motion?
Need a motion? I would so move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
The motion passes. Congratulations, and thank you for a job well done, and I'm sure this year will be just as good as last year. Thank you. Reports of the Park and Rec Director. Mr. Lothammer? Oh, I'm sorry. Wait a sec. Sorry, just one more thing. Councilmember Case had added himself to that agenda. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, I just wanted to give a brief report this evening from meeting before last with the Fire Pension Relief Board, and I'm speaking tonight as a council representative on that pension board, but I'm also a full voting member, one of 9. We don't have majority control, but we have representation of 3 of us from the city out of 9. And I wanted to report back tonight that we've had really positive investment results. I think nearly everyone has who's been in the stock market the last year, and that our pension fund is quite healthy and thriving, actually. Every 2 years, we are required by state statute to have an actuarial evaluation completed, and the valuation shows that the funding ratio of the fire relief pension and the annual required contribution from the city receives. It talks about that dynamic, and the good news is that we were 87.9% funded 2 years ago, and we're 91.2% funded now. And for those people maybe like me who I asked the question at the pension board meeting, I mean, is the goal to be 100? And it's really not if we understand a lot about pension funds, partly because with the stock market variances any given year, it just fluctuates. I mean, and I don't know that it would be healthy to have it be at 110%. I mean, it might be healthy for the retirees, but there might be a real push then to raise pension, and it would fluctuate. So 90% is considered very healthy, and one would like to keep it in that range. So what it means is that if you recall through the last, say, 10 years, the portion that the city has had to be responsible for contributing, but there's a state contribution piece to this, has varied from $550,000 back 10 years ago up to a high in 2010, if you remember, of $1.4 million when we were reacting to the 08 and 09 stock market. And then for the last several years, it's been 917 dropping down to 829. But our portion of that, it all depends on the state contribution, which wildly fluctuates and somewhat unsteady, but it's been in the 200,000 to 300,000 range. So in 2012, our contribution was 625,000. So next, and that's for everything is for the 2 years in advance. So, my initial thought when I was hearing that was, would it make some sense down the road for us to have a conversation, kind of like the revenue stabilization concept back in the 90s, that would it make sense to have an amount that we look historically and we go maybe 100,000 high, and I'm just throwing out a number, but say we throw out, rather than 700 this year, 800,000, and we basically park it into an enterprise fund only for firefighters, that prevents what happened to us in 2010, where we had to basically justify a tax increase of 3% to try to just support the fire relief fund in that bad year. So I'm not pushing that tonight. I'm just really thinking of the conversation in my mind, because as it is dropping, and it may continue to drop in the next couple of years, you never know about the stock market. So in an effort to get a little bit more control over our own personal liabilities, the firefighters are looking, the pension fund board is looking at the idea of pursuing more of a lump sum concept. And you'd have to have a grandfathered in transition time, but a lot of other fire relief associations do have some sort of a lump sum. We have one currently, but nobody takes it. I think it's been, is George in the room? I think it's been, or Sue? It's been at 100, I don't have my glasses on, sorry. It's been at, it was at 100, 50%? So, from 100 to 150, and 0% of people take it. And no one's taking it, and so we were looking at what would be an incentive that still benefits the fund. If you look at the longevity of expected life expectancy, still benefits the fund, but removes the liability from the city, because that, even though that person takes out whatever they're based on their years of service, 100,000 or 150,000, we no longer have the liability of making sure we have that money parked. And there are some pension associations that have gone 100% to lump sum. We've had the conversation about, do we you know, starting next year, every new firefighter comes in is a lump sum person. That can help remove some liability. So we're just having that conversation, but we did vote to up the lump sum to 178 times. Am I doing that right? 178 times the monthly service pension to which the member would have been entitled. Looking at the number, seeing if we could encourage a few people to begin to take that. So anyway, that's my report for the night. Let me see if there's any questions while I'm looking.
Questions for Councilmember Case?
One more. Okay. Actuarial projections assuming 30% of firefighters choose the lump sum. That's how we're operating and looking at the possibility of the fund being improved over the next 10 to 20 years.
Thank you. It's a good report, and that fund's important because that's how we attract and retain volunteer firefighters for our community.
Absolutely.
So thank you for that report, and thank you for serving on that
and
committee.
Sue does too, and George. So that all three of us are here tonight. If you have any serious questions, you might want to ask the experts. Okay. But I gave a report based on Sue's great information.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Lotthammer, report of the Park and Rec Director.
Your Honor, council members, I know you're very familiar with the Eden Prairie Community Foundation and also familiar that over the years we have been lucky enough to receive many grants from them. And these grants help us to make our programs or events both more affordable but also a higher quality. And I think this is a very good example of that. We applied for and received a grant for $4,173, and that's going towards sound equipment. So as you attend a performance, whether it's a concert at Starring Lake, outdoor theater, any of those types of events, you will now experience a better sound quality. And I can tell you that our groups like the theater, the community band, we're very excited to hear about this, and I think you'll be able to tell and hear the difference. Our past sound board and mixing equipment was starting to get very antiquated, and a piece of electronic that was harder to use and maintain, and so this will really take us to another level of quality, and we really appreciate them, not just this year for this grant and gift, but the Community Foundation has been an organization that's really supported our city and our department directly as well. So we want to make sure that they're well thanked. We did attend the foundation event where we were able to accept the award that night and say thank you to the group that was there as well. So there is a resolution for this item too.
Any questions for Mr. Lotthammer? Is there a motion, please?
I would move to adopt the resolution accepting the grant funding from the Eden Prairie Community Foundation to purchase sound equipment for concerts and special events.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The motion passes. Next, we have a report from the fire chief on a grant from the Eden Prairie Community Foundation.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. This is yet another grant for the Lucas 2. We've been out looking for ways to offset our costs for those, and we asked for a grant of $3,000 and received one from the Eden Prairie Community Foundation to help fund that fourth Lucas 2. So the $2,500 from CenterPoint and the $3,000 from Eden Prairie Community Foundation, both going to offset the cost of the fourth Lucas 2.
George, what do they cost?
They're about $18,000 a piece.
Wow. Okay.
No, nothing's inexpensive in our business.
No,
So.
Cheap compared to a life, though.
that's true.
Right, and we've already had, like I said, the 4 return of spontaneous circulation. So those are like once or twice a year events, and we've had, multiple of them in the last 60 days. So it just shows what good compression can do. And actually, there's a story. HCMC paramedic Wayne Snyder suffered a massive cardiac arrest in Richfield on another medical, but then he fell victim to a heart attack. They put the Lucas 2 on him, and they left it on him for the whole time. So it was like 40 minutes by the time they got him in the ER and did all that stuff. And he is now up and walking around. And so the county has changed their entire kind of the way they think about survivability now with the Lucas 2 versus just people doing hand compressions, because it's so much more effective that it can circulate the blood in a very natural way that your body would. And so survivability rates are going way up. That compared with all the AEDs that we got grants for and purchased, for all of our squad cars, fire trucks, city buildings, is really making survivability a huge benefit here in our city.
Great. Well, thank you. Thank you for that, and thank you for applying for the grant, and thank you to the Eden Prairie Community Foundation
Yes.
for giving us that funding. Is there a motion?
I would move to adopt the resolution accepting the grant funding from the Eden Prairie Community Foundation to help offset the purchase price of a Lucas II automated chest compression device.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The motion passes. Is there any other business to bring before the council? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.